Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ache and this is Naval FODDER. First of all, thanks to everyone that has been asking how I was and all that, because it's been a while. Summer event, it was too heavy, and I needed some time to sit back and relax. Apart from that, holidays, family, work. So as it is by now, I can't dedicate as much time as I would like to a video game. So sorry for that, but we're back in business. So we're gonna be bringing you some cool gameplay in the next few days in the form of the 5.0 German lineup, simply because it's the one that I have played the most during the crazy summer event, which was a rank 3 event in which you have to do like 40k mission points every couple days during a month-long event. And why would you do that to your mental sanity, to your mental health, you might ask? And it was just because the reward was a 6.7 Japanese battleship, the Haruna, which is a pretty good deal in my opinion. So in order to get the reward, I was contemplating two options mainly. One was playing rank 3, 2.7 to 3.7, mainly PT boats, which was kind of lame. The other option was to play a 5.0 lineup, because the bulk of the community was going to be on the 5.0 to 5.7, 6.0 bracket. There was also a astonishing number of people using third-party software in order to grind for the event while not having to actually play it. So once that I knew that I was going to be playing 5.0, I just needed to decide which nation. And if you look into, let's start with the Japanese, if you look into them, the 5.0 or 4.7 is not the strongest there, because the PT boats are not the best and their planes are kind of lacking as well. And Italy, the 5.0, I love it because of the Trento, but then the other options on the lineup and the planes and the PT boats are not that strong. If you look into the Russians, well, I don't have them yet. I'm still on the 4.3, I think. I'm kind of getting there. And then UK, it's a really good option, but the planes are kind of okay, and the PT boats are okay as well. They're not the best. It's doable, but it's not the best option, but it's a solid 5.0 in my opinion. And then you have the US Navy, which is one of the best because of the Northampton and the Moffett, and the rest of the DDs are really good options. The planes are also really good, and then the PT boats it does have good options, but the tops are kind of slow, and that's why I don't like them that much, but still really good overall. And then the Kriegsmarine, which is the one that I end up using because I was grinding the Köln and the Raffspey, which it makes sense for me. So if we take a look into the lineup, what we see here is that it's really versatile. It doesn't have really strong points like the US Navy, but it does everything good, and that's why I liked it. The starters are really good. The S100 is a really good PT boat, and if the map is not good for PT boats, you can always start with the Z43 because of its fire rate, and it's a really good starter as well. Then the Z32 and the Emden are going to be your second and your last spawns because they have a slower fire rate, and you shouldn't be starting with them, especially with the Emden, because you're going to be facing other 5.0 cruisers which are going to eat you raw because you don't have much armor. Then the aircraft are really good options because they do have, the Dora has a 500 kilo bomb and the F8 has a 1000 kilo bomb. These bombs are more than enough, more than capable to destroy heavy cruisers, light cruisers mostly, and DDs, they just delete them. Then the Heinkel is there just for fun because of the Fritz X. Okay, so let's jump in a more detailed view of the components of the 5.0 lineup. The Schnellboot, the S100, is a fairly good PT boat, in my opinion. It's 78 kilometers per hour, which is quick enough to keep up and go for a cap point. It is divided in 3 sections rather than 2, and it's kind of narrow and long. So yeah, I mean, if you are facing a DD, you should show the front, just the front, to make it harder. And then if you are aiming to destroy other PT boats, you should be showing your side to get the guns to fire with the guns. So yeah, then we have the quadruple mount 20mm, a double mount, a few 7.9, and the main gun, which is a 30mm at the front. These two have a small, they're always reloading. They are always reloading. Then you have a little bit of ammo, a few gun shields around. So yeah, it's not to like. And then the main thing about the Schnellboot is that you have 4 torpedoes in 2 launchers, and they are frontal. These are really good, 6 kilometers and 81 kilometers per hour. You shouldn't be putting the torpedo mode on these boats, because you want the torpedoes to be the fastest as they can be. And then you have 4 mines, which are a nice addition. I'd rather the mines than the depth charges, because the mines, you can always deploy them on a cap point, and they are going to give you a kill every now and then with some DDs going inside the caps and things like that. They will, if they catch a mine, they normally catch it with the front, and sometimes the ammo racks go boom. And that makes the S100 a very good starting PT boat, in my opinion. And yeah, it's just quick enough, and it does have the weapons that you need. And also, sorry, I forgot, you also have the artillery support, which will give you the chance to attack those players or those bots that are just sitting behind an island. So it's another thing that it's added to your arsenal. So yeah, great. The Z-43, it's a good overall DD. It's a very good starter ship, in my opinion, for those maps where you can't deploy a PT boat first. So it does have a decent speed of 69 kilometers per hour, and it does have a high crew count compared to the other DDs of its BR. Then if you take a look at the inside, you'll see that it differs to the previous DDs on its transmission. This transmission is huge, and it's always knocked out. And then on the Z-43, it's kind of smaller, so you have two of the those gear or motors, whatever they are. And yeah, then you have the usual ammo racks. The one on the front sits above the waterline, so that's something to keep in mind. This thing, as any other DD, likes to go boom. Then you have ready-to-use ammo scattered all around the ship, so yeah, keep in mind that you need to spend those shots as soon as you can. That's why the high crew count is gonna help you, because those detonations are going to start fires and whatnot. So yeah, it helps because you don't have much armor. The AA cover for pretty much all of the ships on the 5.0 lineup is good. It's decent enough. It's just, yeah, kind of short range. You don't have many options on the long range. So yeah, the 20mm are your main bread and butter, and then the 3.7 centimeters are the hard hitters there, then a few 20 millimeters always scattered around the ship, and that's pretty much it. If we take a look onto the main guns, we are going to find out that we have a low ammo count. That's why we do not load any of the time fuse shells. Also because of the elevation of the mounts, which is only 30 degrees, which is rather poor. Then they do shoot with a flatter trajectory, which is really good in my opinion, and they pack a punch. These are 5-inch guns in 5 single mounts with a decent fire rate, and the handling is superb of the main guns. Then a few of these AA mounts in there, which are different from the other DDs. But the main thing about this ship is its torps, because it's a DD, so they have the same torps as in the Snell boat, and they are 2 mounts of quadruple torpedo launchers. Really good. Again, don't use it with the torpedo mode because you want to use them on short range where the 81 kilometers per hour can do their thing. And then to follow the Z43, we have the Z32, which is pretty much the same. The only thing is that you exchange 1 kilometer per hour of speed for higher crew count and bigger guns, and thus slower reload. Same again, no armor whatsoever. This is the highest crew count of all the DDs at this VR, so that helps. We have 5 6-inch guns in this DD, which is crazy. These are slow firing guns, and you have a single double gun turret at the front, 3 singles at the back. Ammo rack, it's below the waterline, so that's a good thing because all of the previous DDs have the ammo rack above the waterline. The elevation is a bit better than the single mounts. This is 65 degrees, but again, it's not the best for AA. Good thing is there's no ready-to-use ammo at the front, so that is gonna keep you alive for a bit longer. So once you get used to the main battery and its peculiarities, you will love this ship, I'm telling you. The main thing is the front gun is in a single mount, so if it gets knocked out, you lose all your frontal firepower, and with this kind of paper-thin armor is something that is not hard to do. This can put you in very serious disadvantage, especially against DDs with higher fire rate than you. The back turrets are single mounts. They do have ready-to-use ammo there, which likes to go boom. As always, you need to spend that as quick as possible. And these do have a slower fire rate. They go down to 7 rounds per minute once you spend those 10 first shots, which is something to keep in mind. It's just a bit annoying. It's not a big deal, but it keeps you looking at the green cycles at the center of the screen to see if they are reloaded or not. The AA layout changes a bit, but it's exactly the same firepower, let's say. You just have one quadruple at the front and then one single 20mm at the front and another one at the back, and it's just the same as the previous DD. The 3.7 amidships there, if I can select it. Plenty of room in the internals. The transmission is smaller again as on the previous DD. The fuel sits kind of low in the ship. There's no big fuel tanks on this ship. The torps are just exactly the same as on the previous ships, and I'm not gonna say it again. Don't use the torpedo mode on them. You want them fast. And finally we get to the Emden. This is a good ship overall. It does have a decent crew count. It's not the best, it's not the lowest. It does have a decent speed of 54 kilometers per hour, so it's gonna get you where you want to be, but not crazy fast. One thing that I miss is the scout plane. It does lack one, so you are missing out on that department. Apart from that, you want to spawn on this ship last or second because you want to stay away from the enemy heavy cruisers, hard hitters, light cruisers, fast firing, high penetration DDs and all that, because you don't have the stay power to withstand long engagements or high caliber guns, because your ammo is not great and your crew count is not great either. So you have a multi-layered kind of armor layout here. You have a 50mm first layer along the ship, and then you have a second one which is internal and at an angle of 40mm, which does help, but it's just not enough, because again, we are going to be facing ships with high penetration at this BR and higher, because we are going to get up to 6.0 with the Emden. So you gotta really keep in mind that you're not gonna withstand a long engagement against those ships. Then the armor rack sits just above the water, which is a problem for your survivability. And then again, ready to use ammo all around the ship, which is gonna create detonations every now and then if you don't spend that quickly enough, and that's gonna hurt your crew count. Because your reload rate having 6-inch guns is not the best. You have 2 stages. The first one is 8 rounds per minute with 10 shots, and then you go down to 6 rounds per minute, which leaves you on the slow fire rate side of the whole BR bracket that we are going to be facing. And then again, we have a low ammo count per gun, but with the slow fire rate is something that you don't have to worry about. One good thing about having this pre-war main gun arrangement is that you have guns on each side of the ship, so you can engage different targets at close quarters. So that's going to give you an advantage in some scenarios that you're going to find yourself in. But remember, your ammo is not the best at close ranges. So if we look into the anti-air coverage, I think it's fairly good on the Emden. The medium range gets boosted by the 4cm Bofors that do have a very quick fire rate. And then we have 3 4-inch turrets at amidships, which are kind of decent. They do have a low ammo count as well. But yeah, and then that's something to keep in mind, because you can run out of ammo on these fairly quick, so you need to keep them on only targeting aircraft. So keep in mind that. And then for the ammo, you should get as the first option the time fuse cell, and then a little bit amount of the base fuse HE, because it's going to help you once you get that close range engagement. And for that, the Emden has the perfect tool, which is torpedoes. Again, German torpedoes, really good, very fast, decent range. These are in 2 double mounts, so 1 on each side. They don't have reloads, but the angles at which you can fire them are superb. So keep in mind that you just have a couple of them, so use them only at short ranges. The real thing that makes the Emden different compared to the other ships in the lineup is the AP shell. It's the only ship that does have one, and this is going to give us the chance to penetrate to at ranges of more or less 8 to 10 kilometers, and with its TNT filler, which is not great, but it's gonna allow us to do something against those targets. So having AP is really good, but remember, when you engage those targets, they're gonna shoot you back. And let me remember you that you don't have the armor, you don't have the crew count, you have below the waterline are moracks, so you're not going to be able to withstand a long engagement against those ships. Those are going to melt you in 3 salvos, 2-3 salvos, you're going to be done. So keep that in mind. Try and see yourself as a support if you are early in game, but then remember, we want to spawn with this ship as our second spawn or the last spawn, giving the Emden a higher chance of survival because its opponents, the most scary ones, are already engaged or sunk, so we can go on and do our light cruiser stuff, which is bullying DDs and trying to kill other light cruisers. So let's jump into the aircraft, shall we? Here we have a really good combo because we have 2 really good planes. One is a strike aircraft and then the other one is a fighter, which use different spawn point pools and thus having a better chance to be able to field 2 aircraft in a single game. And the first choice is the old and trusty Focke-Wulf 190 F8 boom and summer. Not the fastest, don't turn with this thing, good climb rate, and a 1000 kilo bomb on its belly. This one is going to melt anything at this BR with its 600 kilo of TNT equivalent. Is gonna destroy heavy cruisers, and the good news is that your roll rate, which is really good, is gonna allow you, is gonna give you the chance to deploy this bomb where you need it to land. Then on the offensive you have the 2 30mm machine guns, and then you have the 2 20mm guns, which they are all centrally placed, which is good for a boom and summer, and these are gonna allow you to, deal with PT boats as well. But also, these are good to use against bombers, and with your climb rate, you're gonna find yourself that sometimes you drop the bomb and you go back to the 635 kilometers per hour, and with the climb rate, you're gonna be able to go up high enough to do the air patrol and try and disrupt the enemy while they try to bomb your team. And this is something that these planes do effectively. And then we have the Dora, which is basically a copy-paste. It's just a bit different. It's quicker, but pretty much is the same plane. The guns are the same, all centrally. The climb rate is the same, so you can play it mostly the same. The main thing, the only thing that it changes on this plane is its bomb, its payload. This one does only carry a 500 kilo bomb, which is good enough with its, if I recall correctly, 290 kilos of TNT equivalent. It's only good for DDs. If you go onto light cruisers, you're going to be very accurate, and onto heavy cruisers, you basically need a miracle in order to get a kill. So Dora here is a boom and summer, so yeah, don't try and turn, keep it fast, and yeah, use the climb rate of this plane to drop the bomb and then see if there are PT boats trying to get into cap zones, and if not, you can go up high enough to do the air patrol and help your team. And the last plane that we have in this lineup is the Heinkel 111 because it does carry the Fritz. So yeah, it's a highly situational. You're only gonna be using it against, big ships and slow ones at the back of the map, just because these BR with HBT being commonplace, and yeah, you're not gonna be finding yourself in the situation to get many kills with this at this BR. So that's the 5.0 lineup of the Germans. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys, and I will be posting the gameplay videos very shortly because I have got too many of them. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed it, and yeah, happy to be back, and